Oh hey, don't mind me, I'm just running some numbers. The Nintendo Switch 2 comes out in just under 2 months, and according to this self-portrait I drew, I'm broke! I don't understand how this happened. I followed my budget plan to a T. Yeah, I don't think I can cut anything here. I guess I'll have to look around and see if I can sell some stuff. Oh, I can't wait to play Donkey Kong! We just got our first good look at the Nintendo Switch 2 on April 2nd with the Switch 2 Direct, and it looks stellar. We got some pretty impressive hardware specs like the 1080p 120Hz screen, new and improved Joy-Cons that attach magnetically and can be used as a mouse, faster read speed on the new game cards, game chat letting you talk with your friends and share your screen. It all looks great. And that's not even mentioning the games that are coming out. Mariokart World is launching day and day with the Switch 2, and it's the first open world Mario Kart game, letting you free roam alone or with friends and Tony Hawk on rails and junk, and letting you drive straight from one track to the next during Grand Prix. It all looks great. Mario Kart 8 is already really good, but it is over 10 years old at this point. It's wild that the best-selling Switch game of all time is a Wii U port, and it's even crazier that the Switch is the first Nintendo console since the Virtual Boy to not get its own Mario Kart game. Isn't that nice? You finally have something in common. We did get the Booster Course Pass with roughly a new game's worth of courses, but most of these were just remastered courses from previous games, and it was still Mario Kart 8 under the hood. One could argue that Mario Kart 8 is already such a definitive Mario Kart game that there's really nowhere else to go, and all Mario Kart 9 needs is some new courses. But I'm glad to see that's not the case and that Nintendo is actually innovating more on the Mario Kart formula rather than just keeping it where it is. Donkey Kong Bananza looks great as well. Ever since Nintendo lost their grip on Rare, it's felt like they just didn't really know what to do with Donkey Kong, with him being relegated to all these weird spin-offs in the GameCube era. And in the last 15 years, all we've seen from quote-unquote main series Donkey Kong has been a couple 2D platformers. Twice. Bananza looks like the sequel to DK64 that should have come out like 20 years ago, but better late than never. The destructible environments are a great idea for a game where you play a rampaging ape. The whole thing looks absolutely chaotic. Not sure how I feel about DK wearing pants though. Makes the last 30 years of nudity look a little bit more questionable. You must have forced him into an HR meeting or something. And then we have a brand new IP, Drag X Drive. Drag Cross Drive? Drag multiplied by Drive? I don't know. This one's giving me some real ARMS vibes. Y'all remember ARMS? No, the Nintendo Switch game. Still no? Well, whatever. Drag X Drive is clearly meant to show off the mouse controls of the new Joy-Cons. When the trailer started, the music that was playing and the hand gestures made it look like we were going to be getting some kind of like DJ Hero style rhythm game, so I was surprised when it turned out to be a wheelchair basketball game. This makes a ton of sense though. I don't think I could come up with a better game to play with two mice. It looks like a really fun game that I would be absolute pants at, but I do hope it catches on at least a little bit. Seeing as it's clearly multiplayer focused though, I feel like it's going to be tough for it to keep a dedicated enough player base to consistently find 3v3 matches. And that was pretty much it for Nintendo's first-party Switch 2 exclusives, other than a quick announcement that a sequel to Kirby Air Ride is in development by Masahiro Sakurai himself. But beyond that, we also got confirmation that several Switch 1 games will have enhanced versions available on the Switch 2, including Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4. That itself isn't too surprising, it was more of a shock that they were launching on the Switch 1 at all. What is incredible is that the Switch 2 will apparently be able to do 4K 60fps in Metroid Prime 4. If that's true, that's insane. I'm curious if any other games are going to be able to hit that target, seeing as Metroid was the only one that gave a specific resolution and frame rate, or if it just comes down to some particularly impressive optimization from Retro Studios. Seeing as it can only hit that target in docked mode, a lot of it must also come down to the enhanced cooling on the Switch 2 dock. If this kind of performance is possible across the board, we might actually see Nintendo give Sony and Microsoft a run for their money in the hardware space for once. And based on the third-party titles we're seeing, that might actually be the case. AAA games like Elden Ring, FF7 Remake, and Cyberpunk 2077 coming to a Nintendo platform isn't something I ever thought I'd see. And considering we're also getting games like Borderlands 4 and Civ 7 launching the same day as other platforms, it seems like the days of concessions in performance and resolution in order to bring AAA games to Nintendo might be over. And then there's all the indie and the AA games that were shown off. I saw how excited people were in the chat to see a whole 5 seconds of Silksong footage, and my god, a brand new FromSoft IP exclusive to the Switch 2? The one guy who saw that coming must be feeling pretty good right now. Everything we saw was incredibly exciting, but it did feel like there was one thing missing from the Direct. Like there was one major mystery about the Switch 2 hanging over everyone's head. Hello and welcome back to What the Fuck is Wrong with the GameCube, where in order to stay relevant, we've come up with a brand new segment. How much does that thing cost? No, it's not like The Price is Right. Stop emailing us. Up first, the Nintendo Switch 2. So contestants, how much does that thing cost? $300? What is this, 2017? Guess again. $400? Nice try, cheapskate. It's $449.99. Up next, it's Mariokart World. Contestants, how much does that thing cost? I mean, $70 is pretty much the standard now, so... Ooh, so close. It's actually $79.99. It's too much. Taxes too, come on. And finally, Switch 2 Welcome Tour. How much does that thing cost? Surely that one's free, right? $10, fuckhead.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh no.
What the fuck?
Mario Party's $80 now. Shit brains. $450 USD for the console, $70 USD for games, with Mario Kart World breaking the $80 USD barrier. I mean, up here in Canada, the console alone is a whopping 630 Canadian bucks. Well, that's more than a beaver ride to Moose Jaw, eh? All of this is incredibly disappointing, but given the state of the world right now, it's not entirely surprising. I was hoping for a launch price of no more than 500 Canadian dollars, but realistically prepared for one closer to 600. Looking back, the PS5 Disc Edition also launched at 630 Canadian bucks, with the Xbox Series X launching at 600. Considering the Switch 2 in terms of power seems to lag just a little bit behind the current gen, with the added bonus of portability, it's not terribly surprising to see it priced in line with the competition. Though reportedly in Japan, a cheaper version with the language locked to Japanese will be available, apparently due to pressure within the Japanese economy. I mean, it kind of feels like pretty much every economy is under pressure, but sure, home field advantage, I get it. What's really disheartening though is the price of the games themselves, Nintendo being the first to break through that 80 USD ceiling when they only just broke 72 years ago is rough. And for Mario Kart, yeah, I mean, it looks good, but it's Mario Kart. There's only so much you can do to justify charging that much for Italians in carts. Oh, but you can play as a cow in this one. Well, shit, I'd pay $180. At least for now, Mario Kart World is going to be Nintendo's only $80 game, but realistically, how long is that going to last? If they can get away with charging that much for what is ostensibly a spin-off series, then you know the next big mainline Mario and Zelda and Pokemon are all also going to hit us hard. And of course, you know every other publisher out there is going to hike up their prices once Nintendo proves it can be done. There were rumors a few months ago about GTA 6 launching at $100, which seemed absurd at the time, but now it's looking more and more plausible. And of course, Nintendo's already infamous for never discounting their games. We used to get reprints at a lower price after a few years, but that practice seems to just be gone across the board now. And then there's the snafu about game key cards. Despite Nintendo engineering brand new cartridges with faster read speeds, they've also revealed that they're going to start selling game key cards. Cartridges that don't actually contain any game data, just a license to download and play the game. One of the biggest upsides to the Switch 1 is that you can actually play games off the cartridge, and it's the only current gen console that allows this. The PS5 and the Series X both make you copy the game to the SSD, which means that 1 terabyte of storage they give you is going to fill up pretty quick. Game keycards are a small step up from the download codes in the box that some Switch games had, since you can actually resell them, but only for as long as the eShop stays up. I like collecting physical video games, but that doesn't mean I haven't seen the writing on the wall. I know the world is going all digital, but that doesn't mean the all digital future doesn't come with its own drawbacks. Digital games are subject to sudden and often unexplained delistings, and Nintendo in particular has a track record of not maintaining their digital storefronts long term, which could make game preservation difficult in the very near future. Between the price hike on games, charging for what seems to be just a tech demo, and charging a currently undisclosed amount to upgrade to the Switch 2 version of Switch 1 games, it really feels like we're getting price gouged this time around. I still have some level of excitement for the Switch 2, but I think I'll hold off until things settle down before I really get into it. It's not like I'm hurting for games to play right now anyway. Hell, in all the commotion, I almost forgot that we just got a bunch of announcements on the Switch 1, like a new Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life. And besides, I think I have a plan to raise money for the Switch 2. And the house takes all from the dumbass who bet everything on black.